till 6 o'clock.
I know.
All right.
You can wash your hands.
Sandra Hammer.
Good.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. It is 6 o'clock. We'll pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We'll start with our council activity reports. I'm trying to recall, and I left my calendar at home. I don't think we had any meetings. You all had a budget and finance and stuff like that, but that's it. I didn't have anything the last couple of weeks. I will turn it over to Paul.
Yeah, I had budget and finance on the 6th, and on the 28th was also the liquor board, and that's all I have.
Okay. Megan?
I didn't, it was a pretty light couple weeks for me too, so I'm gonna make up for it the next few though, so.
All right. Neil?
The only thing was we had Public Works at 5 o'clock and talked about snow plowing for next year, water retention for the downtown project, and a few things. The well at Vets Park is in need of some care. Dan can fill you in better.
Should we provide it with city services? All right. I'm making a joke there. Anything else now? Okay. Donna?
I just attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting. That's about it.
All right. Going on to department head reports. Dan?
As was stated, we just had a Public Works Board meeting. The well at Vets Park is going to need to be probably redone this fall. Waterfest is coming up on Friday. And just lots of things, getting everything ready for spring in the parks. Spraying and all kinds of good stuff.
All right. Sounds good. Anything else you got for us?
I think that's enough.
Okay. Any questions for Dan? Okay, Tarek.
All right, yeah, it was a pretty light week, but as you mentioned, budget and finance, we had Public Works. We also had discussions with the property developer about putting up an apartment building, so that's moving ahead. We're trying to see what grants are available to help cover some of the costs of infrastructure, but otherwise, they still seem very interested. Also, there's a local company in town that's going through an expansion project, and we'll be looking for some funding and aid from the state, so they'll be coming to us at the next meeting. Pretty exciting project, and they're looking to bring 15 new jobs into town. And lastly, I had a meeting with the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust. They're our insurance provider, and we went through our workers' comp and other coverages and claims over the past couple of years, and we are, for a city our size, we are below average, so that's really good.
All right, I'll take that. Any questions for Tarek? Okay, we'll move on. Is there anybody here for our open forum tonight? Not seeing any hands, we'll move on. We'll move on then to the adoption of our consent agenda, which includes the minutes listed on page 1, vouchers on page 2 totaling $374,408.39, along with the member appointment for the Park and Tree Board, resignation of a firefighter, SRO resignation from the police department, sewer license, and the Historical Society parade. Is there a motion on the consent agenda, or does anybody want to approve?
I'd like to pull item G.
We'll pull the Historical Society parade off the consent agenda. We'll take that up as item H under new business. Okay, so then consent agenda items A through F. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Hersberg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Motion carries. All right, so we'll start. We have the fire department here on the purchase of a new truck, page 41. We're going to take them first because they've got a meeting they need to run to. They've got officers already at the station. So, Mike, John, if you guys would take the podium, please, so we can hear you.
Wants to see you guys.
We are looking to purchase a new rescue van. The one we currently have is 24 years old. And it's starting to cost us a lot of money every time we do service on it. And looking to get approval for funding for it. We went to Budget and Finance last week with it. On the 6th, and they made, a motion to take it to council and, try and get the funding for it through some of our building fund and the rest through our large equipment fund. The cost of the truck, $566,291. There is 4% if we pay for the chassis, upon arrival to the company that's building it.
So the breakdown here, as I understand it, is you'd be using your large equipment fund in full, right?
Yes.
And then are you asking for just $100,000 to come out of the building fund?
Up to 100,000 if we need it, yep.
So we're also using the next 2 years of the contribution to the large equipment fund.
Okay. So when would we expect to get this?
24 to 36 months.
So that's how we can push out.
Yep.
Okay.
So the only thing we would have to pay for right away would be the chassis to get the 4% reduction.
And we have enough in our large equipment fund right now to pay for the chassis.
Okay. Paul, I'm gonna go down to you, because I know you were the one who was at the township meeting. Am I correct in understanding there was some sort of a motion to be made for additional funds to come from the township? Correct. Could you elaborate on that, because I'm not sure I fully understand it?
So, if I remember correct, I believe we increased in the township the levy by $100,000 to assist in covering the cost of the truck.
Do you know if that was intended as an amount that would come directly to the city for the truck? Or was it just to offset the future increase to the department?
I believe it was to budget for the anticipated increase going to the city or for purchasing the truck, so
So we should not be looking for a $100,000 check.
you have to take that up with the township.
I mean,
I'm just a resident, so.
I would say that's the way it is.
I feel
I
like,
believe the anticipation is that based on the breakdown, the township is anticipating that $100,000 bill coming due and they're budgeting for that purpose.
All right, so in any event, we're looking at using our large equipment fund tonight and then possibly $100,000 from the building fund if we need to. And we're expecting the truck in 2 to 2.5 years, or 2 to 3 years.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Can I jump in, Sean?
I heard Neil's rumblings here for a second, just before I had you, Paul, and then yes.
Okay, yep. Well, I would feel a little more comfortable if all the townships approve this instead of just saying, here's the bill, pay. I know the meeting isn't until August. If we did a special meeting or emails, I'd just feel more comfortable if they said, yeah, we're okay with the purchase.
I'm afraid if we wait even another week or two, this truck could be $750,000.
So the contingency is obviously with the tariffs right now, and we don't know where that's gonna go. If we wait, that could pose a potential significant increase to the truck.
Explain what happened in New London.
Is this truck already here someplace, or it's not on a ship?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet, so, but
No?
we got 90 days to figure it out, you know.
Paul, you
I
had
don't know if tariffs even affect. Aren't they made in South Dakota or Wells or?
well, the problem with
Yeah,
the
but
truck
they're
might
built
be.
there, but there's components from all over the
Over the
world.
world. And when we ordered, Unit 12, it costed us $545, roughly $550,000. New London just spec'd the exact same truck we got, and they ordered it, $1.1 million. In literally
You know where I'm
a year
coming
and a
from.
half.
I just
Yep,
feel that we probably should have had a special meeting or done something so all the townships were on board.
That was what I was gonna say that we discussed in budget and finance, was that the price that we have right now is not gonna go any lower, it's just gonna go a lot higher. And the longer we wait, the more we're gonna have to come up with, down the road. So even if we wait for the township to get on board, by that time, it could cost us another $300,000. And I would say we approve for it tonight and not worry about the township as much, hoping that it comes through. Otherwise, there's a good chance that we're gonna have to find the money from somewhere. And hopefully it's not on property taxes. So anyways, I suggest we move forward with it.
Well, that was my next question. We want to raise the capital,
Right, the transfer.
double it actually, from 100 to 200. Where's that going to come from?
50 is going to be from the city, and then the other 50 is made up of, well, 45 probably city, then the other 55 is township and everyone else.
Oh, so that'll be part of the formula.
Yeah.
100, right, okay. Well, that's 50 is a lot better than 100.
Jim, can you just help us maybe make a record of why we need to replace this truck? I know we've talked about it informally, but talk about how it's the truck that goes on every call.
well, it's a truck that goes on every call. In the last 2 years, it costed us about $20,000 in maintenance. And we actually have stuff sitting on our floor that if we get a grain bin rescue or something like that, somebody has to remember to grab that because we're out of space in our current truck. And trying to remember to grab something off the floor when we're rushing to an emergency, 6, 7, 8 times out of 10, it's gonna get forgotten. And then we lose that time running back to get the equipment that we need.
And is one of those pieces a grain shield like you talked?
Yes, yep.
So I'm just looking at that to Councilmember Hertzberg's point about, the townships participating. I think they're the ones who are going to be most predominantly affected if there's a grain bin rescue.
Yes.
I get Neil's point. I do. I wish that we could have done this perhaps in a more strategic fashion. But I think with the Trump tax affecting everything that we've got right now, we have to move forward on it. I don't like the idea of us having to leave vital rescue equipment on the floor of the garage and hope that we pick it up. I don't think that we can do that. I understand these small townships have limited finances, but I trust that they will understand that we're doing this in part to really benefit their residents as well. Because if there's a grain bin rescue, it's going to be out in those townships.
And it's gonna help us in the future too when we got, any truck right now that you're carrying water with is gonna be $1 million. And I'm Unit 8, probably about 6, 7 years, that's gonna have to get replaced.
Yeah, I'm sympathetic to the point, I just don't know that we have much of an option here. So,
And we're able to find some of it from the capital improvements that were supposed to go to the fire hall, we're gonna be put on hold with the hope of somewhere down the road that a new fire hall can be built. So it was the thought in the Budget and Finance Committee that the money going towards the repairs to the fire hall now would get put off and put towards this new truck, because the truck is what, a 2001?
2001, yes.
2001, so it's 24 years old.
Yep.
Goes on every call. Okay, one bad fuel filter, and somebody needs jaws of life. Well then, how do we explain that?
Yep.
That's gonna be a tough explanation.
But I think you need to fix the roof and things that.
And that's
You don't
one of
want
the
a leaky
biggest things,
building
if
and
we can stick
$1 million truck.
a Band-Aid into our hall, that leaves us more money to take out of our, but if the hall's gonna get pushed off another 10 years, then we're gonna have to do a major upgrade to the roof. on the hall. The rest of it can be Band-Aided, but the roof can't. I mean, if we're not gonna see Hall in 5, 6 years, we're gonna have to do a major update to our roof on the hall. And that's why we felt comfortable doing 80 to 100,000 out of the building fund. If we could Band-Aid the roof, then we could take more out of the building fund.
I don't know that you can. I mean, the city budgets is such that if we don't get state or federal funding, the
Yes,
fire
sir.
hall can't move forward. State funding isn't going to happen this session.
We're waiting on federal.
We're waiting on federal. We did put in a grant, but I think it's unlikely that the federal government does much.
We had discussed that in budget and finance too,
Right.
that there was no guarantee that the bonding bill from the capital was gonna go through this year.
No, I mean, we do have great state support for it. It's just they're not going to get a budget. Well, they will get a budget done. They have to get a budget done.
Right.
But they're going to struggle to get a budget done. I just don't think that bonding is going to happen. So. I think it's a great discussion. I think we need to move forward one way or another here tonight.
Okay.
Anyone wanting to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to purchase a rescue truck from Rosenbauer, South Dakota LLC for $566,291 plus any tariff increases minus the $4,139 deduction for early payment using large equipment balance to pay for the chassis, with the total purchase to be paid from large equipment fund and up to $100,000 from the building fund.
There's a motion by Thielen as stated on the action sheet. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. None, motion carries. Right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all very
Thank you.
much. You have a good rest of your night.
Have a good meeting.
All right, then we'll take F and G from new business, the chamber, so that Jacob can get back about his life here and day.
Good evening, Jacob Bertram, part-time executive director for the Chamber of Commerce. See on your agenda packet, we have 2 events coming up here. We can go in the order of the agenda, which was the Culpeper Merriweather Circus. That will be coming to Painesville here on July 29th. They were here in 2023. They're based out of Oklahoma.
Last year, too.
23.
Oh,
Yeah. They come every other year to this area. They have shows coming down the road. Show time is 5 and 7:30. Our request is to be able to have this event at the same location as the carnival grounds, as well as the same location we had in 2023. There was questions about maybe the map of the grounds. We plan to model it the same as what it was in the past. We will have bathrooms on site as well as garbage service that is being donated. Is there any questions?
you couldn't
I
do it on
have a question, Jacob. It said you're requesting to waive a $250 investigation fee and the $25 registration fee. Who pays for that? Is it the circus or is it the chamber?
In the past, the chamber is what I would understand it as, is being that we're applying for the event, that we would pay for that.
Okay.
We've always waived that historically, haven't we?
Yeah. I think if I'm hearing Paul correctly, it's that if it was the circus and not the chamber, then maybe we'd want to
Yeah.
collect it.
Right.
Yeah, right.
My only gripe is not even a real one. It's why can't you do it on the Wednesday so that I can go there on my birthday?
We'll plan for it next time.
What do the investigation fees entail, though? That's my question, I guess. It's not like taking a, do you know, Paul?
We don't have anything to do with this.
Okay.
The only thing I'd recommend is that, the council post Lake Avenue between, Main and First Street is no parking.
Yeah.
That way, when the circus is letting out, we're not running into pedestrian and traffic issues.
Because the application fee, I understand, I know historically that's just been waived, but it just, if it's investigation into something safety related, that's probably but
Do we have the authority to close that for no parking, considering it's a county road?
Yeah, we should.
Okay. I know you did for the parade the other week. Okay. With that, we're looking for a motion to approve the large show and assemblies application for the chamber, waiving the applicable fees, and then authorizing, I think I'll just incorporate it as part of the motion, authorize no parking from Main to First along Lake Avenue on the day of.
so moved.
Motion by Brick, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Hersberg, any further discussion?
I will abstain from voting on this.
Okay. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion does carry with one abstention. Okay, on to the Town and Country Days.
Thank you. Yeah, Town and Country Days coming up here, the middle of June, June 18th to the 20th. We plan to have the same event as in the past, so Wednesday night would be a kids' night, Gazebo Park, featuring different kids' activities, touch-a-truck for the local emergency services vehicles, music. We have the money pit that's going to be available for kids to find different coins that are hidden in the sand, and different activities that would partake. Thursday night, of course, being the parade, that's when the carnival will be starting at noon. And then on Friday, have the carnival back again. And then new this year, we were looking to have a free concert. This theme this year is 1980s, so the concert is an 80s themed band. So we're excited to bring that to town just to come coincide with the theme that's there. Band will be playing from 7 to 11. We are also announcing raffle winners, which the council approved a couple months ago. We were having a raffle for a four-wheeler, 2 e-bikes, and local gift cards to local businesses, including golf, bowling, restaurants, movie theater, things like that. So we're really excited to bring that raffle to the area, and if anyone's interested in buying tickets, Donna has some, and we have others posted around town for people to purchase. We met with Officer Wagner to discuss some of the security items for the location of the stage for the concert and what fencing that needs to be done. Are there any questions?
Are there any thoughts on sound? If it's going until 11 o'clock at night, do we have any idea how loud we're expecting it to be and if we need to do anything there? And it might be a non-issue, I'm just curious.
Well, every year the general sound of a carnival, circus, people being there, that's kind of part of it. We haven't had any complaints as an organization. I don't know if the city themselves have.
Well, I had.
That's something maybe the residents just need to be aware about, that if that event's happening.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the carnival itself. My thought is if the concert's going to add anything to it and what that would look like. But from what I'm hearing you saying is that it shouldn't be any louder than just sort of the general carnival noise.
And we did, in the way that we kind of did position the stage, we tried to make it the best way so it would go towards open field instead of a development. You can maybe ask Donna if she's not able to sleep that night, then maybe she's the reason why the sound's going that way, but that's kind
Donna,
of
if
the
it
thought
doesn't
behind
face
it.
you, it might face me, so.
Quiet hours are 11 anyway.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned with it. I think the benefits will outweigh any sort of draw, and if it's a problem, we'll address it going
Right,
forward.
and ultimately, we tried to make sure that, not to affect too many people, but also bringing an event and free concert to town, there's some give and take there, I hope, a little bit on that.
Yeah. Well, you'd hope, but.
I'm good. Anyone else on the council have any other questions? Otherwise, I'd entertain some motions here.
Hey, Sean, I have one thing. So one thing that Jacob and I did talk about was with the deviation this year for having a more formal concert down there, would this present it to become more of a beer garden type atmosphere? I did talk with Doris, who is supposed to be providing alcohol in the past. In the past, we've allowed the grounds to be open for people to consume and kind of walk the whole grounds. I I did talk to Jacob about this, I talked with Doris about it. As it sits right now, as long as they're doing what they've done in the past, which is just strictly beer, their wine coolers, and then their like seltzer cans or whatever, I don't think we have any concerns from a public safety side of things, especially with what we're talking about with fencing and signage. However, if that were to change, I would be asking the council to reassess and relook at whether or not we want to add an additional layer there, just simply because we are drastically shifting what the grounds typically are for and turning them into maybe something that's not normally there. You know, I think we're going to staff with one extra person that night, just with an anticipation of potentially 500 to 1,000 people there to help just kind of control if we run into any issues. But just wanted to make you guys aware of that as it sits right now, as long as things stay as they've been, we're fine with the way it is. But if they do deviate from that, we may need to reassess.
Okay. And if you have somebody extra on, they can help with traffic control at the end?
Depends on what's going on, maybe.
Hopefully. So what I'm hearing, like, similar to the sound thing, which is that we think it's good, but we're gonna keep an eye on it, and if it's not good, we'll address it next year.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
And I think the goal of it too is we want to expand the event, we want to bring more people to town, and we know right away if we do plan to add different things, we'll be talking to the right people right away to make sure we get our ducks in a row that way, so there's no issues.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great.
It'll be fun.
Okay. Now I'd entertain some motions.
I'll move to approve the parade permit, temporary street closures, large show and assembly permit, allow camping within the city limits, the use of the city's generator as long as they have a licensed electrician on site to hook it up for camping, waive all applicable permit fees, and to allow the events to take place at Gazebo Park and 605 Lake Avenue for the 2025 Town and Country Days.
I have a motion from Brick as stated on the action sheet. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Thielen. Any further discussion?
I will also abstain from this
Okay.
vote.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries with the abstention. All right, thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
All right, going back up then to old business, page 10, EDAP loan interest rate.
No, I didn't hear you guys say about the open forum when you started, because I was helping everybody get signed in.
Okay.
And that's what we came for. Is
Okay.
it possible to have 5 minutes?
I asked for open forum a couple of times, nobody raised their hand, so we moved on from it. So we're gonna keep on with our agenda at this point, Ray. Thank you.
You asked once.
All right, so we're going forward then with the EDAP loan interest rate on page 10. All right, can you give us a report on this, please?
EDAP was discussing changing the interest rate because they felt that the way it's currently structured, which is prime minus a quarter point, and prime is currently at 7.5, that we're far from reaching that limit because we have a cap at 6.5. They
I'm gonna
also,
ask you to hold on, I can't hear you.
okay.
Okay, please go ahead.
EDAP met to discuss changing the interest rate cap. Right now it's capped at 6.5%, and the way it works is it's prime minus a quarter point. Prime is currently at 7.5, so we're kind of so far from that. However, EDAP felt that we should lower it to be, number one, more competitive, plus the point is to be appealing to businesses and supportive. That's the primary objective, not to match what a bank is charging. So they felt that we should cap the rate at 5.5%, keeping the same floor of 3%. Right now it's 3% at a cap of 6.5, and they're recommending we lower it to be within the range of 3% to 5.5%.
Makes sense to me. Any thoughts from the council?
Right now, we're at 6 or
6.5.
What are we on?
We're at 6.5 now.
6.5?
Yep.
So we're going down 1.
Yep. The floor will still stay the same at 3, but the way we calculate it to make sure if it falls within the range will be prime minus 1 going forward. So prime prime minus 1 within the range, 3 to 5.5 versus prime plus a quarter, 3.5, or sorry, 3 to 6.5,
And prime right now is 7,
7.5.
7.5.
And again, any changes we make, we can revisit again. I mean, this is something we're starting to do annually.
So can you just make it for a record, because I know we have a business that's looking to apply,
Yep.
and I don't want it to look like we're doing this just to benefit one person. Can you talk about how we have been talking about this for a while now?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for several months, and of course, the last discussion at the last meeting came about before we even knew of this company's interest. So that's the company that I met with this week. They had put their project on hold. They weren't sure what they were gonna do with it, and last week they said they're gonna go back to it again, but the EDAP meeting had already taken place, so.
Yeah, when it was discussed at the EDAP meeting, it wasn't in regard to anything other than just changes in,
And
Interest
anybody
rates.
that's out there could refinance, but for 1%, for most, it wouldn't pay.
We did that before to a business. We refinanced for them,
yeah.
so yeah.
I'd entertain a motion, unless we want to keep it the same, then no motion is necessary.
I'll move to approve the EDAP loan interest rate at a minimum of 3%, a maximum of 5.5%, and based on prime minus 1%.
Okay, there's a motion by Brick based on the action sheet. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Potter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carries. All right, the active transportation grant. Chuck?
Yeah, in your packet is
Wyatt?
a copy of the active transportation grant for the construction of the trail. It's for $500,000. It's a standard MnDOT contract. Basically, it's a reimbursement contract, so every month when we do a pay request, once the pay request is approved by the city, we submit a reimbursement request to MnDOT for them to pay back the dollars that have been spent, so. But once again, this is a standard MnDOT contract.
And this is another one, if we don't get the grant, we probably aren't gonna proceed at this time.
This is for the trail project that's planned for this summer, the one along County Road 130.
So we're pretty sure we're gonna get the grant.
Yeah, we got the grant.
Oh, we got it.
This is actually basically the grant
The
agreement.
agreement, yeah.
Okay.
This is the final step. in-
This is to accept it, okay?
Yeah, this is basically accepting it.
Well,
Once we accept
that's
it,
a no-brainer.
it's encumbered, and then we can move forward with construction.
I'll make the motion to approve the grant agreement resolution 2025-13 from MnDOT for the 500,000 active transportation grant for the trail.
I'll second.
Motion by Hersberg is stated on the action sheet, seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? I have some, but not related to this, so I will wait. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same side. None. Motion carries. My only thought, and I emailed the chief and Tarek about this earlier, as I have been trying to work on this excess weight or insulation around my gut. I've been biking around town, and we have a problem with people yielding to bicycles in this city. So I would like to see if we can do some sort of like public safety campaign, or improve the marking on the trails, or whatever we can do. Because, yeah.
Doesn't
you
the
miss
DNR have
me-
to be involved with that then?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying, just food for thought as we go. Because I was crossing an intersection in a crosswalk with a 5-year-old when somebody went through it. So, there's my rant.
But it does work both ways. There has been complaints. A lot of bikes are not stopping for stop signs, and if there's traffic, they need to.
They do need to, yeah.
If there's not traffic, you can go through slow. But
So
a
I
lot
get
are going through with electric bikes 20 miles an hour.
Yep. No, it works both ways, and I'm not laying the blame on anyone right now. I'm just saying that we've got a lot of people who are walking and biking. We had a lot of people in here tonight. I'm just, by looking out, that a lot of them walked here. So I think, whatever we can do to increase safety for pedestrians and people all around.
Yeah, there's tons of kids out.
Food for thought as we go forward.
So just so the council knows, an email went out to all of my staff today to start monitoring and taking action when they're seeing these things happen, so.
Okay.
We should start to see a little bit, hopefully an improvement in it.
Thanks. I'm off my soapbox now, Paul. Thank you. All right, Dan, hiring a part-timer. Couple.
Part-timers, yeah.
Yeah, part-timers. I want you to know, my heart got real excited when I saw we were
Yeah.
hiring Mergen.
I know, different market.
Unfortunately, it's just Derek.
No, no.
Derek's great, and he'll do a good job.
Anything else you want us to know about hiring these folks, Dan?
I was look forward to getting them on the staff so we can put them to work.
Okay. Well, I think that everything speaks for itself here. I'd entertain a motion.
I lost it.
I'll make the motion to hire Mark Gibson, grade 1, step 4, 2048 per hour, and Derek Mergen, grade 1, step 1, 1839 per hour, effective immediately for the part-time seasonal 67-day maintenance worker positions.
I'll second.
Motion by Hersberg, seconded by Brick, as stated on the action sheet. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. All right. Transfer to the library fund. Tarek.
Well, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but yeah, we need to make a transfer to the library fund because of the expense we've already incurred purchasing the lots. We have a request here to put it from the general capital improvement into the library fund to make it whole.
That I'm not worried about. Can you talk to us about wanting to pull 85,000 from E EDAP?
Well, we said originally, we're talking 100,000, and we're trying to figure out where best it would come from. You know, obviously, I'd hope that these funds would be able to be replenished at some point, and I just thought that we could take it out of EDAP since we are kind of trying to tie it into some kind of economic development when we're looking at revitalization and, you know, improving the downtown area, but we can for sure pull it from other funds if you think it's more appropriate.
My biggest concern is I think we're going to have an all-out riot if we take it from EDAP without getting their blessing first.
Especially if we have businesses that want EDAP funding.
Well, I think the difference is we have our EDAP fund and our loan fund.
Yeah.
This would not touch the loan fund. This would just come out of the other one. And there's a healthy balance of what, 500,000 in that?
Less.
It's less than that, but it's still a couple 100,000.
Oh, yeah, it's I think it's close to 400,000.
But it's healthy, it's there, but.
Well,
So we can take it, like I said, if,
let's say we took 85 out of reserves, eventually that 85 should come out of the new library funding if we ever get funding,
yep.
Yeah.
because that's what it's for, right?
Right. Do we have specific costs? I know we see just the discussion of hiring an architect. Do we have a cost for that yet?
No, we don't. They haven't decided on an architect yet.
Here would be my preference. If we do 15 today, and then once we get firm costs for the architect and things, we first go to the community foundation for the money that was raised for this purpose.
Sure.
And see if they would pay it. And if they won't, then we need to discuss where it's going to come from. But that also gives us time to talk to EDAP and to talk to, or explore if there's some other way of getting these funds.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Works for me.
Well, then I will make the motion to transfer 15,000 from the general fund reserves to Fund 121 General Capital Improvement Fund for the library, without touching any of the EDAP funds or anything like that.
I'll second.
Motion by Ranky, seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. Right. Dan, on the park and tree.
Well, I can I can talk about that. We discussed Park and Tree charging for the new shelter rental. It does have a kitchen. It obviously is, you know, that's what we designed it for. We currently charge $50 for Gazebo Park. It doesn't really have many facilities there, and we charge $150 for Veterans Park. So we're looking at, the recommendation from the park board is to charge $100 for rental at Ampey Park.
I will add, in speaking with some city staff about this, the recommendation coming from the park board was that the fee be modified so that it includes sales tax. Staff have told us that that's not really possible. So the park board understands that we're likely going to be overriding that recommendation of theirs. They're good with it. The other thing is, in talking to some staff, they're recommending that we significantly increase the cost of the rentals. I'm not entirely opposed to that. You know, the point was raised that if you rent a tent for a graduation party and some chairs, you're easily looking at $600 or $700. So I think that makes sense, that we should look at increasing it, but I'd like to get a feel for what some other cities are charging as well.
Okay.
So my preference is to leave everything alone this year, but take a good hard look at it for next year's.
I agree, it being a new park, a lot of people don't even know that it's available for rent. Get the word out there and let people use it, that's the best. Somebody uses it and likes it, the word spreads fast. So for this year, let's go, I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2025-12, amending license and fee schedule.
I have a motion to approve resolution 2512 from Hersberg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brick. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carries. All right. Paul, on an SRO.
Thank you. With the resignation of Officer Hagstrom, who has decided to move on and go do other things in life, that does put us down in SRO. More importantly, our second SRO, Officer Lepaka, is nearing the end of his time that he would like to be doing this. He has obviously put in quite a few years with us, on top of his years of service before he ever came to the Painesville PD to do the SRO stuff. So I'm looking to hire an additional or just a general replacement SRO for the department. There have been 2 individuals who expressed interest in it, in taking on that role, who currently I believe would fill that role on a more permanent type basis for one of them. And then for this coming school year, Officer Lepaka would stay on to do the DARE program until such time as we could get a new SRO trained in for DARE. So trying to find a single officer who can fill this role instead of having it split between 2. So I'm looking to just open that hiring process, looking at posting it for 2 weeks internally on the city's website and on the message board. This is not a position that we would gain really any traction by putting it on the post board. One of the candidates, one of the people interested is a local individual that if the council saw them to be the best fit, I think would be, you know, a good fit for the community as a whole. So I don't think we need to decide one. We already have 2 individuals who've expressed interest, so.
Does the school want to continue with this?
They do have a 3-year contract, so.
Okay.
Everything I hear out of the school has been positive, whether it's from the students, the faculty. I'm hoping in the years to come we can expand this program. I'd like to see a full-time SRO in our schools. I think the type of program we run there is beneficial. We've done a lot in bridging the gap between the students and then the police department. And we've been able to deal with a lot of issues without having to criminalize our youth and students before they become major problems. So I think it's definitely been a worthwhile program.
Well, there's a proposed motion before us if somebody wants to make it.
I'll make the motion to start the hiring process for a part-time school resource officer at grade PD 9. Oh, shoot, I lost my page.
How about step dependent on experience with hiring process to continue until a recommendation is made?
Yeah.
Getting at it.
Are we still waiting for me here?
Yep.
Shoot.
Well, Sean just said the rest of it.
Oh, okay.
Does that work for you?
That works for me.
Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, we've got a motion by Thielen. Is there a second? Motion is stated on the action sheet.
Second.
Seconded by Potter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. All right, then we took care of E, F, and G. Neil had asked that the Historical Society parade be pulled, so we'll go back to page 7. Great. We have a proposed parade for the Painesville Historical Society. Neil, you wanted to talk about this?
I was approached, is there a $50 fee for the parade, or this is what I was told?
I'm looking on here. Tarek or Paul, do you know the answer to that? Is there a fee for the parade?
In 13 years, I don't think we've ever charged a fee for a parade.
I
don't know if there's
Is there a $50 fee for anything?
I'm sure there is. I don't know if it's
For
for
some
free
things,
though.
probably.
Because I was told they were gonna pull the parade if they have to pay for escort or whatever's going on.
No, the $50 fee for escorts is for building moves.
Okay? Somebody's maybe overreading.
We've never charged a fee for a
But I
parade.
thought if we're waiving for all these other chamber, and-
If there is a fee, we'd waive it, yeah. But
right, if we're waiving, why would we not waive it for the Historical Society?
yeah, that's true.
I'm sure we would.
Well, that's all I had. I thought if there really was, I wanted to know why, and
Yeah, I'm taking a look at our fee schedule. It is a $0 fee for a parade permit.
okay.
And
There's nothing on our application either
yeah,
to indicate any sort of a fee.
well, it would be the intent, I think, of this council, and I think that could be communicated to them, that they would not be charged a fee for it.
I hope the party that twisted my ear is listening.
So,
Give them a call when you get home.
okay. All right, so then.
Thank you.
That's
all I got.
Thank you, Neil, for bringing it up. If there had been something, I'd want to take care of it now. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the parade permit?
I will move to approve the Painesville Historical Society parade permit.
A motion by Brick, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Donna. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None? Motion carries. All right. Let's go through a couple of informational things real quick. We do have our department reports along with our West Central garbage rates at the end of our agenda. Otherwise, we do have a proposed closed session to discuss making an offer on real property. That would be the property located at 890 South Street, parcel 70.38619.0376. If we want to meet in closed session to discuss that, I'd ask for a motion pursuant to section 13D.03 and 13D.05 sub 3 of the open meeting law.
So moved.
Motion by Brick, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on that? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None? All right, we will go into closed session. I'd ask that everybody except for
Dan.
Dan
Thanks for
and,
being patient.
Dan and Chuck, you guys can stay. Yeah. All right, Kristen says Republic again, so we've met in closed session. We've discussed an offer that was made on the property. We've agreed to it. Oh gosh, I'm going to trust that Sam will speak up and correct me if I'm wrong. So Sam, listen up if I am. But my understanding is now that we've approved it, we make the terms of that public and we accept a motion on it, correct?
You're on mute, Sam. Hold on. Maybe it's me here. All right, try that, Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a little bit of a hard time hearing the last question, sorry.
So we've accepted an offer on that real property. Now that we've done that, we make the terms of the offer and everything public, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That needs to be made in an open session.
And that's what I thought. I just wanted confirmation of my memory here. So with that, we did meet with this individual, we've agreed to accept an offer of $10,000 for, I think it's up to 60 feet of the property, depending on what the city needs. Right around that 60 feet of width of the lot number. Somebody want to make a motion to accept that and direct staff to complete the necessary paperwork for it?
So moved.
Motion by Brick to accept the offer of $10,000 and direct staff to complete the necessary paperwork. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Potter. Any further discussion? Just to note that the depositing account for the funds, where the funds get deposited to and how they're used, that has not yet been determined. We'll ask that that come back on a future agenda. So, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Right. Then with that, there has been a threat for potential litigation. We'd ask for, or I'm recommending that we go into a closed session to discuss. That'd be pursuant to 13D.05 of the Open Meeting Law, Subdivision 3B, to discuss threatened litigation by Recovery Center LLC. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brick. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Thielen. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. I don't see that there's anybody here that shouldn't be here, so I'm not going to ask anyone to leave, but we can go off camera.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are back in our public meeting here. We met in a closed session to talk with our city attorney about potential litigation, and we did that. We got some advice from them. Because it's an attorney meeting, that is attorney-client privilege, so we won't discuss it. There being no other business before the council, we stand adjourned. Thanks, everyone.